We're ready to go. No, you won't. Yeah. Can we? While they're moving the table, we'll move on to, this is the Technology 2 presentation. We're getting late in the day, so we all need to rally. I know this is still important to all the presenters, so I trust you each have a card, and at the end of the sessions, please again vote for the company that you feel is most likely to succeed. I want to start by just introducing our judges for this panel. We have Jim Connor from Sand Hill Angels, Ankur Jain from Bloomberg Capital in the city, and Deb Carstetter from the Angels Forum. Let me just ask them to briefly introduce themselves and say a little bit about their firm. So, Jim?
Yes. Well, thank you. My name is, as you said, Jim Connor. And Sand Hill is a group of 65, 70 investors. We are, like many of the angel groups, we make investments in what we believe is a company that can grow and scale and become have a viable exit. We take a fairly active role in the sense that we will write a term sheet, we'll help syndicate that term sheet or market it to other groups, and we believe in really the value-added proposition that if you come and you take your time and you interact with us, you're going to get something out of it. We tend to give you very, hopefully, candid, constructive, and helpful feedback. Okay.
Thanks, Jim. Ankur?
I'm with Bloomberg Capital. We're an early-stage venture fund. Typically invest at seed or Series A rounds, invest in almost all areas of tech, also invest internationally. We have investments in North America, Europe, Israel. Our check size has varied from a few hundreds of thousands to $3.5 million, and we're a life cycle investor. My personal background, I was working with a company called Software Networks in the 90s, which was a content distribution network. We were acquired by Digital Island in 2000. After that, I moved to a company called Andiamo, which was a storage networks switching company, and we were acquired by Cisco in 2004. So went through that acquisition. I stayed on in Cisco. We built their flagship data center switching line. I did strategy consulting for Accenture for a few years, and then I've been in venture since then. So I look forward to your company's pitches.
And I'm Deb Carstetter, representing the Angels Forum. Like Jim and the Sand Hill Angels, we do work with very early stage seed level funding. Also do a tremendous amount of work in coaching, mentoring our entrepreneurs when we do invest in them. And so you get our dime as well as our time. And we are a smaller group. We're about 24, all very accomplished executives in various different industries. So you get a lot of depth and breadth in help as you go through your entrepreneurial phase into hopefully a larger company.
Thank you very much. So again, my name is Greg Clark. I'm the Vice President of Client Services with Cooley. We've been a sponsor of this event for, I think, 7 years, and I think a lot of you may have been at our Palo Alto offices for the reception last night. So again, the format, as we've seen before, each company will present for 6 minutes. Our judges will have 4 minutes to ask questions and get answers, and then we'll move through the various companies. So to start, I want to welcome Munir Shita, who comes all the way from Portland, Oregon, and is here representing Chimera Systems. Welcome.
Thank you. Yes, perfect. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Munir Shita, and I'm the founder and CEO of Chimera Systems. And we have an artificial intelligence technology that will fundamentally change how we view and measure user experience. Imagine what the world will look like if the internet with all of its apps, services, and devices understood or could think and understand your world, understand the situation you're in, understand your intent and your goals, and continuously being able to adapt themselves to you, even if it means going beyond the original program. Your alarm clock would understand that the reason you're getting up at 7 a.m. is because you have a 9 a.m. meeting, a really important meeting. So when a big pileup happens on the freeway, it will adapt and wake you up at 6. Or what if you're sitting at your local pub and your smartphone highly suggests that you stick to soda pop or water because the pills that you got prescribed by the doctor cannot be mixed with alcohol? When applications are no longer bound by their program, when they can adapt and evolve, we will have a whole new world of how we will see a whole new world of how technology interacts with mankind. And that's the challenge we wanted to focus on. So the problem today is that the most proactive element in any application, fixed or mobile, is the human element. We have to find the apps. We have to download them. We have to manage them on our devices. And worst of all, we have to remember to start an app when they're supposed to bring us value. And the value you get in return is a canned experience, not designed specifically for you, but designed by a product manager who's never even heard of you. So what we have built is an artificial intelligence technology we call Blueprint. About 7 years of research. It can take any number of data inputs, understand the data, connect the dots to be able to draw a picture of you, of a specific moment in time. And out of that, derive intent and goals. And then figure out how to best help you achieve your goals and document this into a situational blueprint. That's kind of like an intelligence briefing that we make available to any application, service, or device through a SaaS model. These intelligence briefing will give step-by-step instructions to an application on how to natively embed this intelligence into themselves. Basically, reprogram portion of an application so that the application is specific, it comes across as specifically designed for you. So next time you go to your local supermarket, your mobile device will understand that you're there to buy products for the dinner you're making tonight, for a dinner party you're hosting. It will understand that one of your friends is allergic to peanuts, and it will alert you to either remove the peanut from the recipe or find a substitute. Now, we're going to bring this to market by initially focus on check-in platforms. We're actually announcing our first partner today, MDP Mobile, kind of like Glancy. They're built on top of Facebook check-in. They know where you are today, but they have no clue why you're there. We can give them the ability to understand why you're there and work with their developer community to instantly put together an application and push it to your mobile device, completely bypassing app stores. When it comes to revenue, our initial focus will be on product placement and retail. So these intelligence briefing, they actually describe a new software supply chain. And in this software supply chain, we can embed product placement, advertisement, premium features, and we can take a cut of that. Now, developers are free to take it anywhere they want, but our focus is going to be on retail and product placement. And that's just the first phase. Phase 2, we want to bring this intelligence briefing directly into devices, starting with the mobile device. We want your phone, your smartphone, to actually be smart. It's not very smart today. It doesn't know anything. After that, any other device, from smart cars to connected TVs to Google Glasses to smart clothing. Anything that humans interact with should adapt to you. It shouldn't force you to adapt to them. Now, our models show that this could be a $100 million market within the next 5 years and a multi-billion-dollar opportunity by the end of the decade as we move closer and closer to the world of smart technology. And the way we're going to monetize it, again, we are offering these intelligence briefing through a SaaS model, basically charge for each intelligence briefing. This intelligence briefing also describe a new supply chain. So we will be able to embed product placement, advertisement, and premium features directly into the supply chain, and they come across as, look like they're natively built into an application. We will take a cut from that as well. And this is a very scalable model because we believe in the future there will be an application for every aspect of your life, from retail to travel, from commuting to social events. We will be able to monetize every aspect of your life. So far, we've spent about 7 years doing R&D. We just recently turned this into a company. We have several inventions that are currently in patent pending status. We have a seasoned management team and an advisory board. I haven't talked about our privacy model, but it's really built on the idea that data is no longer going to be the king in the future. It's going to be the context, how data is interconnected with each other. We have our first partner, and we talked with several other partners. And we've done several closed betas. We're about to launch our first open beta this month. So to summarize, we built an AI technology that can turn the internet into an intelligent, proactive network. Our initial focus is going to be on location and digital product placement, but we will quickly move into devices and turn devices smart. We have a very scalable business model that can monetize every aspect of a person's life. And we will be launching our first open beta this summer. So if you're as passionate as us when it comes to changing the world, Come see us at our networking table, and we'll talk about how to do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo. All right, 4 minutes for questions. Jim, can we start with you?
Sure. In general, I just want to understand the problem you're solving, because you talked about artificial intelligence in the supply chain, monetizing every aspect of my life, which is a scary thought. Exactly. Now, just give me a model. What is the primary problem you want to solve?
If devices and application services, if they understood you, they can serve you better.
Can you give me an example?
So one of the problems we're working on today with a retail chain in Oregon is they spend tens of thousands of dollars trying to build a mobile app for an in-store experience. They shut down the project because people didn't download it. People who did download it didn't start it. People who did start the app, it didn't really provide anything extra inside the store because the app didn't understand what the heck was going on. Yeah. Make them understand, and they can serve you better.
If you'll indulge me, I really hate to go shopping. I mean, I'm not a shopper, but I've got to go buy things every now and then. My ties are 10 years old. I got to go do something. How would you help me?
Well, first of all, we push it to your mobile device. So as soon as
I go to the store, I got a mobile device, and you're going to get my sizes, help me find the right brands?
Yeah. So number one, we increase the likelihood of you even using your mobile device inside the store because it's pushed to your mobile device. Your device will vibrate a little bit as you arrive at the store.
Sure, fine.
Grabs your attention. Right. As soon as you open up the application, depends on the application, obviously, but the idea is if we understand why you're there, and it could be as simple as we're out of milk, we just need to buy some milk. It could be a little more complex as I'm hosting a big event and I'm trying to buy stuff. If we just understand why you're there, we can help you provide a much better in-store experience. We can help you navigate the store, find the products. Okay. But again, that's just, there's different use cases for different verticals. Mm-hmm.
Can you talk a bit more about the technology? How are you deriving what the context is, and how do you provide that to your other, parts of the ecosystem?
How do we derive context?
What the context is, and how do you provide that to the other parts of the ecosystem?
Sure. So we don't actually host any data, first of all. So it's based on incoming data. It can come from Facebook. It can come from whatever else. We do learn as you use the whatever application. But we understand the data coming in. We'll understand milk is milk, recipe is recipe, dinner party is dinner party. We draw, think of them as dots, data dots. We connect these dots together. And the more we connect them together, the better picture we have of you. And out of that, based on certain, fairly simple assumption, we can derive intent. And by knowing your intent, we can kind of figure out what your goals are. It might not be 100% accurate every time. And that's the whole point of artificial intelligence, is figure out how accurate do we believe this is. But then we document this and make it available to an external application.
I have a quick question. 7 to 9 years of research, where are you in your patent filings? How long ago did you file them?
Well, they're provisional patent applications.
So how long ago?
Just recently.
Okay.
We've turned it from concept into prototype into several rounds of focus group to something we believe would actually work.
Okay. And then you mentioned you had a very strong executive team, but didn't see anything there.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about
6
that.
minutes is kind of limited. We have, so myself, this is my 5th startup. Haven't had a big bang success yet, but most of this has been financed through a couple of startups that I've sold. So I've been through a bunch of startups. Another guy on our team, Nick, has several startups behind him. Has sold one, participated in another one that just was bought by Google. He left Google and joined us here. We have this whole idea of smart technology is also referred to as ambient intelligence. Really started out in Philips. Actually, they hired Palo Alto Ventures back in the days. And they came up with this idea of ambient intelligence, which then highly financed by the European Union. Clark was one of the 5 guys from Palo Alto Ventures that really described this future. Another guy we have, it's Nigel. He's worked at Gartner, been really focused on future technologies and analyzing technologies and how the future is going to look like.
Thank you.
All right. Mo, thank you very much. No, I'm fine. Yeah. So next up, I want to introduce from Rollap here in Palo Alto, Vlad Pavlov, CEO. Vlad, welcome.
Thank you. Can you? Great. Thank you. My name is Vlad Pavlov. I'm the CEO and founder of a company called Rollap. I would like to start my presentation by telling you about a nightmare. I travel a lot these days. And when I travel, I have to carry a lot of devices with myself. Here, I usually have my laptop computer. I have my iPad. I have my smartphone, which is Android device. And I have my Kindle. 4 gadgets. Sometimes I even have more. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only person in this room who has to carry several different gadgets. Well, I believe it's a nightmare. First of all, it's a nightmare for software companies. Every time when a new platform comes to the market, software companies have to create new versions of their products, specifically targeting those platforms. So they have to invest a lot of time and resources basically to rewrite their existing applications. And this is also a nightmare for the users. Now, when I own 3 or 5 devices, I need to pay 3 or 5 times more for the software for those devices. So it's a lose-lose situation. And we have a solution for this situation. At Rollap, we develop a technology that would allow you to run any existing unmodified software on any device that has a web browser. For example, your iPhone apps on your Android device, or Windows software on iPad. And the beauty of that is that the software doesn't have to be modified to become available on new devices, on new platforms. So let's say next year, Amazon or IBM introduces new consumer device. So the software vendors will not have to create new versions of their products because our technology will automatically enable the existing software on those new devices. We are working on this technology step by step. We are launching different applications on different platforms. Today, we are launching Firefox on iPad and Chromebooks. There is an interesting story behind that. Initially, we didn't think about making available browsers on new devices because basically every device comes with a browser, right? One of our partners, I cannot name it, let me just mention that this is one of the companies who developed one of those devices. They sell those devices to SMB and enterprise customers. They discovered that those customers didn't want to purchase their devices because they don't run Java. So even though the customers want to move to the cloud world, they cannot use these devices because they already have some Java applications. So we offer a solution for them. Our technology allows to run Firefox on these devices, which means it allows to run Java. And this is just one of the examples of what we can do. You can think of many different examples of how you can benefit from our technology. Well, of course, in reality, we don't really run the software on your devices. We run it in the cloud on our servers. And then we stream the user interface to end-user devices through a web browser. But the beauty of what we're doing, we create an illusion as if the software runs locally. So for the users, it looks and feels like local application. It feels like native application for their device. They don't really see a difference. These days, there are many companies who work in application virtualization space. Unlike them, we know how to grow fast. We know how to reach billions of users in a few months. We have already established relationship with a few channel partners. Together, they have huge traffic, about 200 million unique users per month. And they're ready to send their traffic to us once we are ready to serve those users. We have a great team. Our cumulative experience includes a lot of research, over 50 research papers published. One of our papers was in the list of top 10 the most popular computer science papers in the world. We worked for different companies, for large companies like Microsoft or Intel, mid-sized companies, and about 15 startups, a few of which were hugely successful. And we have the best on the planet advisors. Bjorn Stroustrup, the author of C++ programming language. Bob Iannucci, former chief technical officer from Nokia. 4 more guys of the same caliber. They all help us create this new technology. So let me summarize. We have great technology, which allows you to run any software on any device. We have highly scalable business. We know how to reach billions of users. And we have the best team on the planet. We are on a beta phase right now, so I encourage you to go to our website and register for a free beta account. And if you have comments or questions, of course, drop me an email. I'll be happy to answer you and start talking to you. This is my email. Thank you.
Thank you, Vlad.
Questions?
Let's start with Carol. Let her start this one.
Yeah, but that's okay. They call me worse. No, it's okay. You spent a good amount of time helping us understand what you're trying to solve. I still don't get how you're doing it. So maybe a little bit more on how you're doing it.
Yes, we have developed a virtualization technology that allows to run the applications on our servers. All the applications run in tiny containers. We call those sandboxes. So those are not virtual machines. Those are small containers. They don't consume a lot of resources. So we can run many applications on the server. And then we stream user interface through a web browser. And we trick web browser. We basically remove all the UI elements from the web browser, no buttons, no menu items. And we push inside all the UI from the original application. So for you, as a user, you just have to go to your web browser and go to our website, and your web browser is going to change the way it looks and feels. It's going to start look and feel like local application on your machine. But in reality, it's just going to be like presenting UI on behalf of that application.
Okay, thank you.
Does that answer?
Mm-hmm. Can you tell us a bit about the adoption of the solution to date and describe the kind of customers who are using it?
About a month ago, we launched OpenOffice on iPad on the demo conference. So far, we've got about 4,000 users. We could only, 4,000 beta requests. We could only activate about half of them because at this point, we don't have enough server capacity. The new users continue to register basically every day. And on the same time, I don't really think that launching applications on conferences is going to generate us traction. What is going to generate us traction is work with channel partners. This is where we see millions and billions of users. Because here we only have like thousands of users when you launch on a conference like that. And as I said, we have already established a relationship with pretty significant channel partners.
So let's talk about implementation, channel partners. What are some of the industries you believe will be the most adoptable, or what companies would like to use your technology to deliver a mobile app, if I understand your basic proposition?
Well, so is your question about who are our channel partners?
It's more like this. As I understand it, you are going to people that have a browser but it doesn't work on a mobile phone typically, and you're going to enable this application to be viable operationally, downloaded and be viable on a mobile app platform.
Well,
is that correct?
It's just one of the use cases. It could work like most software companies now start working with Apple platform because most of people have iPads, right, or iPhones. So the Android users are left behind. Okay. So our technology, for example, could enable the Android users work with iPhone apps immediately when they are released as iPhone apps. Okay. So it's just one of the examples.
Those are already mobile applications. I'm thinking more of something that's not a mobile application. It's a simple browser application, but it's way too heavy, way too large of a download for a mobile phone device to handle.
Oh, yeah, that's a perfect example. As I said, last month we launched OpenOffice for iPad. Basically, people who are on the go and they need just to edit their documents and they only have their iPad, they can use our technology to edit their documents because OpenOffice is completely compatible with Microsoft Office.
Okay, good.
Vlad, thank you very much. No lack of passion for this business.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to just change the order a bit from the program, and I'd like to introduce from San Jose, Sandeep Tiwari from ZafeSoft. Sandeep, how are you?
Very well.
Welcome.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Sandeep, like in deep sand, and it's my pleasure to be out here with Launch Silicon Valley. Today we're going to talk about how we can do security for a collaborative world. Thank you. Yes. Today's #1 trend is the cloud, and we're going to redefine the cloud a little bit. So the cloud is where information is getting stored, it's getting collaborated, it's getting consolidated. And information consolidation allows you to store more and more important information in what we can call a cloud. And because this information is so valuable, all kinds of security has been invented to try and secure the cloud. And VCs and other people have been inventing different kinds of technologies that make sure that this information is secure, it's encrypted, and it can't be leaked from the cloud itself. However, if there's a user who would like to access this information, they have to download this information, and of course it is unlocked. And the minute they get that information, now they can do anything that they want with it. And of course that's important because that's how business gets done. And they of course share with multiple people. So when they share this information with multiple people, it is unlocked, it gets shared around, people can copy, paste, and do whatever else they need to do with this information. And they can, of course, mail it. They can put it on USB drives. And all of that allows your business to happen. Now, if you want security of information, then you want to make sure that this information does not land in the wrong places. Right? So it's the information itself that's valuable, not the file that was originally encrypted, for example. How do you do that? So data security has 3 states, in effect. The first is data at rest. You can secure data when it's in a state of rest just by doing simple encryption. Okay? If you encrypt the file and you password protected, it's secure. It's sort of secure. The minute someone opens that file, it's no longer secure. So data security, if just by using encryption, doesn't really give you security. All it gives you is access control. The second stage of data security is data in motion. Data in motion can be secured with SSL or with secure FTP technologies. And these technologies just secure the data when it moves through the pipeline. But when it reaches the other end, it's no longer secure. Okay. Now, the third step, or the third stage of data security is in use. This is the critical one. So ideally, what you want in this stage is you want to make sure that the data is secure while it's being used by your users. And it goes from user to user. They can consume it in any way they want, but it doesn't get leaked. Now, that's what ZafeSoft does. It's real-time security for information in use. So I'm going to walk you through this very quickly. So say you have a user. He starts to use information. It's sensitive. They can copy. They can move it. All the resulting files that they are copying and moving and creating as they're working with your secured information from ZafeSoft are automatically protected with ZafeSoft. If the person copies or moves that information to PDFs or to any other file format, that information also remains secured or zafed with our technology. The security is actually at a character level. So if you have one character that you move from a zafed file into another file, that resulting file is now also secure. Now, it's not just copy. You transform, you move by any other method, it remains secure. So most of you are thinking, well, I can always screen capture. So we prevent screen capture or any forms of screen capture on multiple platforms, on Mac, on Linux, on Windows. Users can, so there's one more challenge with security, which is you have users that are ex-employees, for example, and they need to get, you need to say that this information that I sent to this person who is no longer in my project or no longer an employee needs to be kept secured. And you can do that with JSON just by remotely removing their access. And that file and all its derivatives are now no longer available to that user. So the best part is that the ZAFed content looks and behaves just like native applications. So once you ZAFE a Word file, it actually behaves like a doc file, and there's no new training for that user. Now, what's our secret sauce? It's 1.5 million lines of bug-free code that we've tested that runs on multiple platforms. We have a thin client that sits on the desktop and makes sure that the users are able to access this information whether they're online or offline. And of course, it is application independent. This is very important because the applications that are consuming the information are not just your common applications, but in organizations, there are applications that have been written in-house and need to be ZAFed so that they can work with this secured information. Currently, we work on Windows XP and Mac, and we have some other stuff coming out. Our model is of course subscription-based, and when a user gets information from our cloud, ZafeSoft is collecting their audit trail. And if any bad activity is happening on that, we're, of course, watching that in the cloud, and we can trigger alarms. So in conclusion, we solve a real problem, which is how to secure data at a persistent method. We have real IP that we have created over multiple platforms. We are really easy to use. In fact, we spent 1.5 years after we made our security work in this way, in this solid, transparent, in this way, persistent way, in making sure that it's really easy for users to use. And it is real-time security. It works real-time. And it's for information in use.
Sandeep,
Thank you.
Thank you very much. All right. And Kor, can we start with you?
Can you talk a bit about the technology and how are you doing this?
Yes. So we have created a thin client that gets downloaded and installed on the end user. So say you have a file that you ZAFE with our technology, and you say, I want to send it to these 100 people. You send it to the 100 people, and of course, you have their email addresses. So using the email addresses, they are sent a second message initially that this is a ZAFE file, and you need to click here to authenticate yourself. When they click there, our thin client gets downloaded and installed, and make sure that that information now remains secure for that user while their user experience remains transparent. So we work at the kernel level, we work at the app level to make sure that that information remains secured. Even a character of it moving out in any possible way remains safe wherever it lands. The end user's experience is totally transparent, no passwords, nothing. But internally, it is always basically kept secure, encrypted, and other ways.
So do you have plugins to like Office and all these other programs?
We do have some plugins, and the plugins are only for adding a menu into, say, Word and Excel to make it a little easier for the end user to, say, ZAFE a brand new file. But if, for most applications, you just right-click and ZAFE the file. So you don't really need a plugin. Yeah, we have plugins for some common ones to make life easy. Not needed. Yeah.
So who are your target users, and what's your go-to-market strategy?
So we secure, our targets are healthcare, because they have giant amounts of PHI that needs to be kept secure within a very distributed, shared ecosystem, collaborative ecosystem. Banks, manufacturing companies, especially with the China angle, where you are sending designs and other files that are very, very sensitive, and you don't want to make sure that that information does not leak out, and DoD.
So you're a thin client. So you're really running this on a server with a thin client connection, correct?
That's right.
So, I mean, I think within your presentation, and you can answer this now, I'd love to hear some real-world situations that you think this is deployable to, and maybe speak to that.
Yes, yeah. So we actually have some customers in trial phases with various number of users, not in several thousand yet. And one of our trial customers, which is a name you would recognize, actually asked us to secure their source code for us. And this is C and C++ code, and we asked them, who do you want to secure it from? And they said it's from our engineers themselves. Sure. So we did actually secure it, and then they asked their 60 engineers to go and break it, find a way to get information out. And these are software engineers; they know everything inside out, and they couldn't. And that's when they realized that,
So is that your first marketplace?
No, our first market is healthcare. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. There are lots of solutions for healthcare, though.
Actually, there isn't a single one that is a technology-based solution for HIPAA compliance for a hospital, for the healthcare space. Okay. Almost all the solutions are training-based today. And there are lots of companies that talk about security, but they all have access control only. They don't actually have data character level security, not one that we've seen. And of course, none of the hospitals have seen, because they are desperate for something.
Yeah. All right, Sandeep, thank you.
Thank you
very much. So next up, all the way from San Francisco, Zip Zap, let me introduce Alan Safahi. Alan, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Alan Safahi. I'm CEO and founder of ZipZap. We are a global cash transaction network. We help consumers who shop online pay cash at local retailers in their own neighborhoods. Why cash? Well, half of the world population does not have credit cards or bank accounts. And even those that do, many times they don't like to use them online because of concerns for privacy or fraud. We know in the US, for example, 82% of consumers don't like to use their credit cards online. In countries like Germany, Spain, Italy, it's upwards of 95%. How big is the market? In the US, we're looking at about 80 million customers. These include unbanked, underbanked, customers who are concerned about privacy, customers who are concerned about fraud. And outside of US is even bigger market. Countries like Brazil and Russia, 85% of online transactions are actually paid in cash. So if you are a merchant and you want to target those customers, you'll have to deal with a cash network like ZipZap first. What we have done is to solve this problem. And by the way, another issue is that if you even have a credit card in Russia or Brazil, you can't use them cross-border because merchants in the US block transactions that come from outside the US for potential fraud reasons. So what we've done is we've created an e-commerce system that we like to, a cash network system that works with e-commerce. Basically, we let customers shop online. At the checkout, instead of choosing credit cards, they choose cash. And then we would generate a payment slip that they can take to a local retailer and finish the transaction. Since we built the network, and it's at about 700,000 locations globally in US, Brazil, and Russia, and growing even more, we decided that we can use the same network for other applications, such as letting customers top up their prepaid cards or their e-wallets and m-wallets. So we don't really compete with those other applications. If the customer has an e-wallet, we like to help them top up, add more money to their wallet, and use that. And if they have a prepaid card, we help them use that. But back to e-commerce, why would merchants use us? Well, number one, we help them monetize a very large segment of the population that they couldn't otherwise reach. And then also, our transactions are 100% guaranteed. The customers pay in cash at a local retailer, and as soon as they make the payment, we know about it in real time, and we let the merchant know, and we guarantee the payments to them because our partners who are banks and money transfer companies guarantee to us. And there's no chargeback, there's no fraud. Consumers love us because they're used to paying with cash anyway, and it's in their own local currency, it's in their own market, it's convenient, it's safe, it's secure. So what we've done in order to, there's a catch-22, they call it chicken and egg problem in the payments. If you have merchants, you need payment centers. If you have payment centers, you need merchants first. So the way we solve that is we have a very strong management team that comes from the years of experience in payments. They're listed on the booklet that you have, page 43. So we created, through our relationships, we created the largest global cash payment network. As I mentioned, 700,000 locations worldwide. And what we did, what we did is we built a network in partnership with companies like MoneyGram, and through them we got access to Walmart's, all the Walmart, CVS, 7-Eleven, Rite Aid locations. We also partnered with Softgate. Through them, we got access to 15,000 check cashing and bodega locations. Cyberplat and another one, Kiwi in Russia, 300,000 kiosks. And through Banco Rendimento, we got access to a Boleto system in Brazil. So once we build that, then we approach payment service providers. These are guys that have tens of thousands of merchants behind them. And we were able to integrate with some of the largest payment service providers in the world. You see some of them listed here. And I got to stop pushing this button. And then through those payment service providers, we finally got access to some of the largest merchants. And we have airlines, and we have Facebook being rolled out in Russia in the next couple of months, some multi-level marketing companies and so forth. Our biggest competitive advantage is that we are global and we can grow very rapidly. Green Dot and PayNearMe are two competitors here in the US, but they are very limited in terms of location. If you're a merchant, the biggest problem merchants have is integration. It takes way too long. I can close a deal in 1 or 2 weeks, maybe sometimes a month, but it takes me a year to get integration with the merchants. So merchants are very selective about who they want to integrate with. And if you're a merchant, you'd rather have 700,000 locations than only 7,000. We're actually larger than Western Union, and we're growing very rapidly. We can add one location at the cost of less than $1 per location, whereas Western Union costs about $10,000 every time they add a location. So that's our go-to-market strategy. We are live now, and we are doing transactions globally, and we are looking to scale up. And we have some innovative products. Our cost structure is basically for e-commerce same as credit cards, 3 to 5%. For topping up prepaid cards, we charge $3.95. Several innovations on the way. Come by our booth, and I'll be happy to show you. Revenues look great. I won't go into details here, but again, come by our table, and I'll be happy to explain. Some of the milestones, we have several large clients coming on board by the end of the year, and we are expanding globally, over 1 million locations by the end of the year. And in summary, we are a cash payment network. We are global. We make it very easy for consumers to pay locally in their own currency, and we help merchants monetize a very large segment of the population that they couldn't reach otherwise. Thank you.
Jim?
Sure. So I love payments. I think it's one of the last great frontiers out there. I do want to understand how you differ from a typical alternative payment structure such as PayPal. It's one of many potential alternatives. Maybe you can explain that.
Sure. PayPal goes after customers that are banked, that have credit cards or bank accounts. So about 1 billion people in the world.
So let me stop. So does a person put a deposit on? Send you money basically to build up a deposit, and then you draw off that deposit?
We don't hold any funds, so we are acting as an agent of the merchant. When you go online and you buy something, let's say from Amazon or whatever the online merchant may be, or you're booking a travel, at the checkout, when you choose cash, we generate a payment slip. That voucher has a transaction ID on it that matches your purchase transaction. Then you simply go and finish that transaction by making a payment.
Make a payment to who?
It could be the Walmart, CVS, Rite Aid, but it goes directly to Amazon or the travel company.
I see. So you're enabling other retailers to be payment processors or to take that cash payment. Is that correct?
That's correct. So and also in Russia, we use kiosks. So basically, what we've done, there are really good payment options all over the world. What we've done is we combine them together and put a really nice interface on top of it. So the majority of the transaction is very simple and cohesive and easy for customers.
Right.
And the last leg is a little different depending on the market.
All right. I'll make one comment. It still doesn't, unfortunately, solve the problem of me having to carry cash if I'm the consumer around to make this payment. And that is an issue in third world countries.
The customer that we're dealing with already carries cash. 85% of the transactions in Russia already are completed with cash. The only problem is they do cash on delivery. What we're doing is really cash before delivery because COD has a lot of problems. It's still very prevalent in Russia. and Brazil and other places. But in the US, it's winding down because merchants don't want to ship you stuff and then you not being home to accept it, and maybe they have to make multiple trips and so forth. So it's not that we're changing customer behavior, we're just making it easier for them. If you're in Russia and you want to buy stuff from US merchants, which a lot of them do, they buy, stuff, jeans and, UGG boots and things like that. Basically, you can either go to a friend or family in the US, give them money and have them buy it, or you can go to an agency that charges you up to 30% for this service. So we're just making it easier. We told the merchants, why would you want to have somebody in the middle that adds friction to this transaction and charges all this money? And it takes a long time because basically when you make a payment to these agents, they have to go and buy the stuff, have it shipped to them, and they have to transfer it back to you. So it delays the transaction by a couple of weeks. Next.
By the way, ZipZap is one of our portfolio companies.
Thank you.
So my question is, you mentioned customers there. How do you scale customer acquisition?
Well, the biggest challenge we found out with merchants is not really signing up. They love the solution. It's the integration and the technical aspect of it. Sometimes we sign up BigPoint, which is one of the largest online game companies, and it took a year for them to integrate. So what we decided to do very quickly, we switched gears and we went after payment service providers and gateways. So Cardinal Commerce, for example, has 96,000 merchants. When we integrated with them, after that, the merchants that are behind them don't have to do anything technologically. We had to do an agreement for marketing. And we signed up with PayOn, which is a very large gateway in Europe. They have hundreds of PSPs, and through them, hundreds of thousands of merchants. So that's how we scale up, is basically sacrifice a little bit of the margin, but everybody's happy in a transaction.
Okay, Alan, thank you very much. We've got a buddy in here, but
thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Again, I just want to make sure we stay on schedule since Vinod will start speaking at 4:45. So our last presenter, one of the French companies here, Michael Vanier from Vizibility. Welcome.
Thank you. Hi everybody, my name is Michael Vanier and I handle the US development for Vizibility. Do you have this one? Yes. Oh, yeah. There you go. Vizibility is a company that has been created in 2005 by Jean-Marc Robin, that's standing at the end of the room here. And we focus on in the industry of facial recognition and digital beauty. We have two offices. One is located in the heart of France, next to Clermont-Ferrand, and the other one, where our office, is in the city of Houston, Texas. That explains my thick Texas accent. How y'all doing? Even though there are a lot of different applications, our target users will be every single time that you have a need for a proof of a claimed identity, we can be an actor here. That touches many different major industries here. We focused at the beginning on two major applications. The first one is a virtual makeup, and we're going to go through this one in a few minutes. And the second one, we've been approached by the French government, and we have developed a facial recognition for safety. The Department of Safety has contacted us, and we have a system that is installed in various stadiums to detect undesirable people doing soccer games or major events in France. What are our strengths? First, we have two offices, one here in the US. We're located in Houston, so that allowed us to and develop business relationship with partners on the East Coast, on the West Coast, and anywhere in North America. We have a robust and an automatic technology when we have a facial recognition. I don't know if you guys saw how it works. We do not have to pinpoint the contour of the lips or the contour of the nose. It is done automatically. So that's a new generation of facial recognition. In the industry over the past 10 years, A lot has been done, and we are rated on the match rate. Some of our applications have a matching rate of higher than 90%. Multiple applications. Let me just name a few of them. Department of Defense, US borders, war zones, banks, the bank industry, any ATM, the gambling industry, any casino that will have to recognize an individual that is not wanted in the casino, a cheater or someone that is highly addicted to gambling. That's the final users here. That's the multiple applications. Of course, our solution allows to raise your productivity and the sales, and we're going to see that in the short video coming in a few seconds. Our team is made of 16 individuals, 8 of them own a PhD in computer science. So we have the knowledge needed to develop many applications. And of course, our solution can be personalized. The next slide is actually a video I'll let you watch. Because the solution that we offer is not only an application of a makeup or hairstyle, it's a beauty prescription where we help the client select the product and we guide her or him into how to apply this product. So we take the place or we help the artist, the makeup artist here. Just for a little story, the sign that you see below Vizibility is actually the upper lip of Marilyn Monroe on the right here. And we can just apply that to anyone. We have the office in France and in the USA. We have 2 figures. We have every single use of our system will bring a 55 cents of revenue to the owner of the company. And we met with L'Oreal. That gave us figures over the next 10 years. Their goal is to have 1 billion additional clients, and we certainly will help them. And we can apply that to anyone. This is Chris and somebody else in the crowd that we saw today. There you go.
Michael, thank you very much. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Thank you. I hate to pressure the judges. We've got about 3 minutes for questions. So, Deb, let's start with you.
Why are you going after the beauty market before the security market?
Well, the beauty market was the very first application that we have developed. And we've done such a good job that we were approached by the French government that asked us to develop a facial recognition. And from there, we can apply this facial recognition to many different industries. But we started by the beauty product.
How are you differing from the other companies that are providing the same service in this marketplace?
Yeah, we have 8 international patents that have been finalized over the past 6 months. We are competing with the largest in the industry, even though we have 16 individuals in the company. We have a higher resolution in terms of lighting. The quality of the end result will be based upon the quality of the environment around the subject. And we have a perfect control of the lighting. We also have a beauty prescription, and not only how to apply a makeup on a face, the system automatically detects the feature of the face, the shape of the cheekbone, the size of the nose. We also detect if the mouth is open, the eyes are closed, and we can rectify. We also have, this is done automatically and not manually. So that sets us apart from the rest of our competitors. We can compete today with companies like Face.com. We have nothing to envy to this company.
Can you talk about the current customer adoption?
I'm sorry?
Can you talk about the current customer adoption?
Yeah, we have talked to different companies. We have started a relationship with, of course, L'Oreal, Chanel, IBM. There is a list of different ongoing negotiations that are on the confidential side, but that's what I can give you today.
Okay. Michael, thank you very much. Very interesting. Appreciate it. Thank you. Again, I want to thank all the presenters. I want to thank the judges. Please make sure your votes are turned in, and our next session is over in the Galileo room with Vinod Khosla. Thank you. Thank you very much, Alan.